Film fans of YouTube, hello, welcome back to the channel. I am Josh, your Movie Apprentice, and yep, we are at the end of the year, which means our traditional best of year list is upon us. I was going to do a top 15 of this, but I wasn't sure about doing it. So I put it out to you in the community, and most of you voted for only a top 10. So that is what we're going to do this year. That I suspected was going to be a weak year for movies because of the strikes. It ended up being anything but. And out of 153 movies I saw this year and new releases, there were some bangers out there. Now, some quick ground rules. First of all, obviously it's my opinion. Do not take it personally. If you don't like these movies, fair enough. Your favorite's not in here. Also, fair enough. Everyone has their own opinion. We just enjoy movies and love to talk about them. This is including films that got their general release in the UK in 2024, or films that I saw at a festival this year as well. The caveat to that is if there was a film I saw at the film festival last year that came out generally in the UK this year, that doesn't count, so do not expect to see Late Night with the Devil on here. And obviously there will be films that have come out in the US that haven't quite come out in the UK this year yet, and will likely release next year. Those will not be included, and there will be films in this list that released technically last year in the US, but they didn't get the general UK release till this year. So it's a bit of a muddled rule set for me, but it's what I've stuck to for every video so far. So without further ado, let's jump right into this with number 10. Smile 2 took everything about the first Smile and added to it. The sound design in this is absolutely flawless. Naomi Scott shows the world just how great an actress she still is. She disappeared for a couple of years. Now she's back really killing it. And just the way this film unfolds, it's so well done. This is how you make a horror movie sequel. Smile 2 is one of the best of the year.
One single injection unlocks your DNA and will release another version of yourself.
Now, coming in at number 9 is The Substance. This is a film that had a very interesting trailer, went into it expecting a weird movie, and it was a weird movie, but it was weird in a good way. This is a film that shines a spotlight on the fickleness of fame and Hollywood, the objectification of women and the hypocrisy behind that from the lusty men in business suits, all wrapped up in some body horror gloriousness that, quite frankly, will shock some people. Like those that have never watched a weird French film before will go into this and be absolutely godsmacked by this. The Substance could have easily been in my top 3 for the year. Unfortunately, the final act lets it down a little bit for me. But regardless, The Substance is an incredible piece of cinema that anyone that declares themselves a movie fan should go watch.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. What? Well, you're American, okay? Okay.
Now, coming at number 8, we have Civil War, the Civil War movie in modern day America. There's a lot of people that went into this expecting more of a political commentary. This is very much a love letter to those that do press on battlefields and war zones. The look behind the camera when it comes to press that go onto these war zones with no weapons on them, only with a bulletproof vest and the camera armed with them. The film shines a fantastic light on these amazing people that do this work to get the story of global conflicts out there to the world. And it's one of those films that really stuck with me. It's so engaging. The way that everyone in it does something heinous in this, it really just shows how when war breaks out, human nature will come to the fruition, and it has an ugly side that the camera can never lie about. It's a really good movie, and I feel like people have forgotten about it as we got to the end of the year, but Civil War for me stands out as one of the best of the year.
Hey, Riley! But we need new friends or we'll be totally alone in high school. Out with the old, in with the new!
Coming at number 7 is my favorite animated film of the year, and unfortunately I had to be very basic with Inside Out 2 on this one. The sequel to one of my favorite Pixar films, this one had the responsibility to build up the world and build up the story as Riley gets older. It worked fantastically. It hit deeply at several moments. The inclusion of anxiety and depicting anxiety to a young audience is going to help people in the long run as they go through maturity and get older. There are some emotions that feel like they should have been there originally. Like I'm pretty sure we all felt embarrassed sometimes as kids and envious sometimes as kids. So I don't see why these are specific emotions that come a little bit later on. However, it's a film that just expanded the world and did a very good job at doing it. And the way it combined the emotions and gave more lessons about how anxiety can be good for us, but we have to never let it take full control of the console because that's how you get to mental breakdowns. And that anxiety attack is flawlessly depicted. No notes, Inside Out is my favorite animated film of this year. But I still want The Wild Robot to win the animated feature because, God, that's a gorgeous movie as well.
Pop tried to protect us with wrestling. He said if we were the toughest, the strongest, nothing could ever hurt us. I believed him. We all did.
Now, coming at number 6, notice how I say UK releases. Well, for me, my number 6 is The Iron Claw, which released last year in the US, but we didn't get it until this year. And this is a film that was criminally robbed by the award season due to the lackluster distribution schedule for this movie. Zac Efron delivers a commanding performance as Kevin Von Erich. I'm a wrestling fan. I know of the story of the rise and fall of the Von Erich family. So I went into this knowing what was going to happen, but could not emotionally prepare myself for just how devastating it was going to be. And the portrayal of toxic masculinity and that social expectation to be strong and never cry and never show emotion, eating them away inside. I thought it was just a fantastic movie overall. And those that say it's not a great movie, I genuinely don't think you watch many movies because this is a great story about family, about the expectations on the males, and just the story of just wrestling as well, and just the way they break it down about the scripted nature and how demanding that work is. Just feel like it deserved a lot more love than what it got because this is a phenomenal sports movie. Wrestling movies just never tend to miss. Now, before I get into my top 5, I have a long list of honorable mentions to get through, so let's get right to them. Immaculate. Sydney Sweeney plays a nun who gets an immaculate pregnancy in this glorious horror movie. Honora, Mickey Madsen plays a sex worker that marries a Russian millionaire, and she ends up having to go on this wacky comedic adventure trying to find her estranged husband after they get found out by his parents. The Holdovers, a fantastic intimate movie with a fantastic performance from Paul Giamatti that didn't come out until January of this year in the UK. Better Man, the new Robbie Williams biopic that had no right to be as good as what it was, and its depictions of depression and self-loathing are absolutely fantastic, and it's one of the most raw and intimate portrayals of a musician in a biopic we have ever seen. The Wild Robot, a solid depiction of motherhood and tolerance in a colourful, vibrant movie that packs the punch when it comes to emotional moments. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, a worthy follow-up to a fantastic trilogy of movies with Caesar that really sets a strong bearing for the franchise going forward. Broken Bird, my favorite indie release of the year, a movie that is sinister and has a lead performance in this that could have been cringy and comedic, but managed to make it unnerving and was just a very decent indie movie that is worth watching on digital download if you can. Sonic 3, a perfect depiction of Sonic Adventure 2 to all fans with some strong emotional moments and yes, some very cringy moments, but it continues to show how you can make a good video game movie, and I cannot wait for the next one. Wicked, the blown away musical that is going to dominate come award season, I guarantee it. Again, with some great themes and social commentary, Wicked is just a film that left me feeling elevated. I'm so good that I couldn't put it in my top 10. Conclave, a religious political drama that had no right to be as engaging and engrossing as what it was, but Ray Fiennes delivers a fantastic lead performance that surely will land him a Best Actor award. Longlegs, the new Seven style movie starring Nicolas Cage that tells a very compelling narrative about a serial killer and a woman that tries to hunt him down with her hunches. And Furiosa, a Mad Max story, a fantastic prequel that really shows that Anya Taylor-Joy can really do anything when it comes to movies.
I am Bella Baxter, and there is a world to enjoy.
Coming at number 5, we have Poor Things, which I promise is the last of 2023 movies that released 2024 in the UK. This delivered a fantastic performance by Emma Stone, which won her a worthy Best Actress Oscar at the awards this year. She is iconic as Bella Baxter, a young mind in an adult's body that has to experience the world firsthand as an adult without going through all the maturity and growth that you gain through your childhood years. It's a fantastic movie with great support and performances by Mark Ruffalo and Willem Dafoe. Just a solid movie, one of my favorite movies of the year with some gorgeous cinematography.
I will love you as long as I breathe.
This prophecy is how they enslave us!
Now, coming at number 4, we have Dune Part 2, the follow-up to Dune Part 1. Denis Villeneuve absolutely smashes this movie. This is a definition of cinema. The cinematography is beautiful. The film itself was so compelling, and the arc of our lead protagonist getting to where he wants to be, but it never gets depicted as a great victory of anything. It shows an almost tragedy of his character that's trying his damnedest to avoid an almost inevitable religious war as a prophecy instilled into the Fremen people is coming into fruition, and it gives us some fantastic character dynamics. Zendaya is very good, but obviously Javier Bardem is this standout in this, being the absolute fanboy of Paul Atreides. I'm just hoping that we do get Dune Messiah, which I did go out to the store to buy because I need to know what happens next. Dune Part 2 is just a phenomenal piece of cinema.
Listen, I already know what you're doing, know who you are, what you about, bro. What? You don't get to tell me what I need in prison. You don't get to do that. And don't bring me in those dark corners no more.
Coming in with a bronze medal at number 3, we have Sing Sing, starring Coleman Domingo in a fantastically performance. Genuinely a very intimate story about a bunch of convicts that find peace and growth and development through the art of theatre. It's a very intimate story that manages to make the shot of the size of a stack of papers an absolute gut punch. It's a slow burn movie, it's a calm movie, but it left me feeling many things to the point where I love those movies where I get to the end of it and I come out just thinking about it in complete silence for a number of minutes afterwards. It takes a long time for me to speak to my friends I go watch the movies with because I'm just dwelling on the movie so much. Sing Sing is an underrated movie that I'm so thankful I got to see this year. It's hopefully going to get a bit more attention and love in the award season. But until then, Sing Sing, go watch it. It will definitely be worth your time. But if you expect just an action movie, you're not going to get it. But you want an intimate story with intimate characters and just a human story, Sing Sing is the best way to go.
なんで私なんで描いたんだろうもっと絵上手くなりたいもん描いても何も役に立たないのに
Now the silver medal. This is a movie that's not even 1 hour long. It is Look Back, a adaptation of a short manga written by the mangaka that wrote Chainsaw Man of all things, that tells the story of a mangaka that almost quits until the person that upstaged them one time confesses their adoration for them, and they go to have this beautiful friendship over the course of the movie. And the film brings in the focus both the positives and negatives of just how much devotion and care and how much you have to sacrifice to just get into the industry that this lead wants to get into, and leads you to question just where art exists in the world and why it is important. There is a emotional gut punch that comes with this movie, and it lingers for a long time. But it is one of the most beautifully told stories I have ever seen put to screen. And the fact it's only an hour long and is available on Amazon Prime, if you haven't watched it, you're doing yourself a great disservice. That is all I'm going to say about that.
パク君は普通の日本人とはデモグラフィックが違うんだよね。普通ってなんすか？
Number 1, this was a London Film Festival watch for me that, as far as I'm aware, doesn't have a general release announcement anywhere quite yet. This is Happy End. This is a Japanese coming-of-age story that I went to watch purely because I like Asian cinema. So when I go to the film festival, I'm planning out what films I'm going to see at the press screenings. If there's Asian cinema in there, I'm going to go watch it. And this tells a story of 5 friends who pull a prank on the principal that reacts by bringing in a facial recognition technology that literally tracks every movement they make. Any small infraction you can caught on camera doing makes you lose points in an education system that is very, very harsh, as is well known, even over here in the West. I adore the story. I adore the characters as we saw them, even though we're still a core group of friends. You saw them grow and develop as people over the course of the movie and drift apart in certain ways. It starts and ends on a freeze frame, and quite frankly, I love films that have the freeze frame opening and ending, so that was a bonus for it. And I liked how it delved into some dark aspects of Japanese culture that never gets embraced outside of Japanese shores. Like, Japan has a big problem with racism, so the fact that the systematic racism is depicted in this with one character who's of Korean heritage, that was just nice to see the film put a focus on. As for Happy End, had all the markers of a great coming of age story that sprinkled in a decent amount of political commentary in there as well. And I'm surprised those that have seen it only seem to give it mixed thoughts, because for me, I thought it was a powerful piece of cinema. I always find that one gem at the film festival that blows me away. Next So He came third a couple of years ago, and that was a Korean movie. I just love these little gems that not many people are going to see, but if anyone stumbles across this video and it happens to be online or released around that time, Happy End is worth a watch, and it's just my favorite of the movie. I just was floored by this movie. I went on a great journey with this. This had similar vibes to The Breakfast Club, but there was a lot more substance to it as well. And The Breakfast Club is my favorite teen movie of all time, so that is saying a lot. Now, that is it. That is it. 2024 is over, and those are my favorite films from 2024. And this year has been one hell of a ride for me on the channel, to be honest. I have finally attended some multimedia press screenings that have not been festival coverage, which has been a nice change. My Nimona video essay did insane numbers. I want to do more video essays next year. It's just having the time and energy to do them. I am working on one right now, as I've mentioned in a couple of videos previously. Expect that in the early part of this coming year. And yeah, just thank you all for sticking with me on this ride. This channel has by far seen the highest subscriber growth and viewership and watch time this channel has ever had. Those of you that just like to talk movies and enjoy the channel somehow, then thank you, because this has been my 7th year doing YouTube, and as long as I love movies, I will keep doing this stuff. I've seen more movies than I ever have in a calendar year. And yeah, this year that should have been, by all intents and purposes, a poor year for movies, but we had some all-timers this year, I feel. So thank you again, and until next year, everybody, I am Josh, I am a Movie Apprentice, and I'll see you in 2025.